This is part two of Bering Straits. I'm calling it Bering Strait because these Neanderthals are still Bering Strait. They're still coming. They're Bering Strait. They're coming back. They're Bering Strait, which means they're coming back. They're coming back, right? They're returning. They're waking up from hibernation, and they're coming full blast to take their world back. So anyway, um, yeah. So now this crewmen that we're going to supposed to be putting this highway in through their woods that they have been living in for millions of years. It's Kirkwoods Village. Remember, this is back in 1940, so it could have happened back then. Who knows? In Siberia, 1940, what happened? It was a lot more primitive back then than it is now. So anyway, let me go on to the next part. So the workers are being questioned by the leader of the tribe named Damond. He's like the smaller guy. He's like 5'11", 185 pounds, and he's like the kind of like the leader, because like the other guys are too scary. Like he can blend in with society. Actually, Damon can blend in with society because he's normal size. Now the other there's two other guys. One guy is going to name Aga. He's like 7 foot. He's like ungodly big. And then there's another guy who's a little smaller, but he's still ungodly big. His name is Damn Mad. They later on they make up false names to fit in society, but the real big guy kind of stays in hiding because he's like the size of like a Bigfoot, but he's like he has no hair. He's like a normal man, but he's just the size of a Bigfoot. He's like 9 feet tall, and he's like over 1,000 pounds. And so he can't really go in society because he'd be noticed. So Damon basically, and the women too. The women are gorgeous. They're just like the women nowadays, but they are actually better looking because they, like if you ever, I don't know if you ever like in Siberia, like when you meet a Siberian women, they're like built rock solid because the conditions, that hardens them, makes them, you know, if you grow up in that environment, it makes you strong as steel. And that's these women are like just totally, they're ripped, they're toned as hell because you have to be in really, really good shape to survive that kind of environment. Like you have to be in top shape to do what these Neanderthals have been doing in the coldest, harshest part of Siberia. It forges the women like steel. They're like, you know, and so let me get off here. So anyway, so the Damon, who's the leader, is questioning the crewmen. He's letting them know who they are. Um, so where was that? That begins. So where does the questioning begin? Okay, yeah, they come in. They are questioned by Damon. Okay, see, so this is when the crewmen are questioned by Damon. So the supervisor. Actually, where's that? No, it's back here. Let's go back here. Okay. So it starts here. Okay, so here's when they're getting talking to Damon, the leader of the Skirkwoods Neanderthal tribe. So the worker, who are you? Damon answers, name's Damon. Damon Woods, leader of the Skirkwoods tribe. His name is Damon Skirkwoods. That's his last name, Skirkwoods. So the worker, the what tribe? Damon. We're what you call the last of the full-blooded Neanderthals. The worker. Thought you were wiped out by the Cro-Mags. No, they're short for Cro-Magnon man. And Damon answers, most of us were. The worker. Thought you were all about 5'5", about 150 pounds. Because there's like, one of them, they're all different sizes like we are. There's a huge Neanderthal behind him, another huge one behind him. And like I said, Damon is like 5'11", 185, which is, according to archaeologists, they weren't that big. Bullshit. They came in all sizes back then, Neanderthals. That's a bunch of crap. They never would have survived 1 year if they were all 5'5", 120 pounds. They wouldn't have stood a chance back then. So Damon answers him saying, you really think we could have survived longer than any other human species on the planet in the harshest time of all human history, battling bigger prey and predators and a lot more with only dull-ass rock weapons to defend and try and hunt with. If we were, if we were, that size, 5'5", 120 pounds, all of us, we've been wiped out within our first year on the planet. Whoever told you that doesn't live in the real world. That's what Damon tells this worker guy. And the worker goes, we call them archaeologists and anthropologists. And Damon says, I'd like to have a chat with them. So the worker says, why you bring us here and destroy our equipment? And Damon answers, because these have been our woods for over 1,000,000 years. Workers, things have greatly changed since then. Damon says, we know we have evolved with time as well. And the worker says, you're going to kill us? Damon said, he answers back, we're not Cro-Magnon men, because they were the killers, not them. It was the Cro-Magnon men that were the killers. They were the evil tribe back then. So the workers respond, so why you bring us here? Damon says, so you can tell your leaders these are our woods and we still run them. Worker says, only the 7 of you? And then Damon says, we're the leaders. There's plenty more out there living in our woods. So here's the workers. Hope you have millions, because that's what our leaders will send in to clear you out, dead or alive. So then Damon answers, we didn't survive for over 1,000,000 years without knowing how to take care of ourselves. And here's the worker answers back, you never battled our tanks, planes, and guns and modern equipment. So Damon answers back, sure we did. Who do you think provides the labor to build them? As well, grow your food, build your city. Some of us are in your military. I'm saying that all the rednecks are Neanderthals. The rednecks are all related to Neanderthals. Farmers, construction workers, people who like to work outside in the sun. They're all like related to Neanderthals. The working man is related to the Neanderthals. The Cro-Magnon men are more related to the supervisors and the white collar worker types, the frauds. So then the workers answer back, you don't look like Neos, it's short for Neanderthal. Damon answered back, what are we supposed to look like? And here's the worker, ugly little hairy ape men. And here's Damon answers back, you know what? I like to have a few words with these dumbass, backwards-ass archaeologists and anthropologists. I like to knock some sense into them. And the worker says, I like to see that. So what's going to happen next is this worker is going to go out, and because he's going to go out there and these workers are going to let people know that these Neanderthals are in these woods and they're still around, and they don't know how many of them there are. And he's going to say that the leader wants to talk to the number one archaeologists and anthropologists around the world. He wants them to come in and he wants to have a discussion about what they think they are supposed to look like. And this is where I'm going to rip on. This is the part of the movie where I'm going to rip out. I'm going to challenge all the anthropologists and all the archaeologists to a debate on how they have human evolution, all ass backwards. Because I think they do. Because there's no way. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that. I'm looking on the internet now, and they're still saying that the average Neanderthal was they're actually saying they were smaller than before. Now they're saying they were all 5'5", even the males. They were 5'5", 120 pounds, and they're supposed to be able to fight off 12-foot short feet. 12-foot tall, short-faced bears. They're supposed to be able to fight off big woolly mammoths. They're both. All animal species were bigger back then. You had mammoth wolves. You had mammoth deer. You had mammoth moose. You had mammoth tigers, bigger than we have now. So these 5'5", 125-pound little guys who were slow and not that bright and only had rock weapons with dull rocks, they're supposed to be able to fight off these huge predators that all, I guarantee you, ran in packs. Even the bears ran in packs back then because they had enough of them where they could. Because, like I said, they didn't have guns back then. Guns, you can thin out the population a lot quicker with guns. and they didn't have guns back then. Anyway, I'm gonna keep one more part.